The autumn rain hammered against the windows of Garrison and More Financial Services as Elena Vasquez adjusted her maternity dress and stepped through the glass doors. 8 months pregnant, she'd driven across town for this appointment, her back aching from the 40-minute commute through Seattle's evening traffic. The reception area gleamed with marble floors and designer furniture. Elena approached the front desk, where a young man in an expensive suit barely glanced up from his computer screen. "I'm here for the 6 p.m. consultation with Mr. Holbrook," Elena said pleasantly. Elena Vasquez. The receptionist, whose nameplate read Derek Chen, looked her up and down with thinly veiled disdain. His eyes lingered on her simple dress and worn shoes before flicking to her face. "That appointment was for high-net-worth clients," Derek said flatly. "Are you sure you're in the right place?" Elena felt heat rise to her cheeks. "Yes, I have a confirmation email." "Look," Derek interrupted, lowering his voice to a condescending whisper. "This is a platinum-tier financial advisory firm. Our minimum portfolio requirement is $2 million. Maybe you'd be more comfortable at one of those community credit unions downtown?" "I made an appointment," Elena insisted, pulling out her phone. "I can show you." I don't have time for this." Derek stood, crossing his arms. "We serve serious investors here, not people looking for free advice. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." A few other clients in the waiting area turned to watch. Elena's hands trembled as she scrolled through her emails, but before she could find the confirmation, Derek reached for his desk phone. "Security. We have a situation in the main lobby." "This is ridiculous," Elena said, her voice shaking with anger and humiliation. "I have every right to be here." "You're causing a disturbance," Derek replied coldly. "If you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have you escorted out." Elena's eyes burned with tears she refused to shed in front of this man. She thought of her husband, Marcus, away on deployment with his Coast Guard unit. He'd be furious if he knew how she was being treated. "Fine," she said quietly, turning toward the door. "But you've made a serious mistake." Derek smirked. "I seriously doubt that." As Elena walked back into the rain without an umbrella, she pulled out her phone and called her husband's emergency line. It went to voicemail. Fighting back tears, she left a message describing what had happened, then drove home in silence. What Derek Chen didn't know, what he hadn't bothered to discover, was that Elena Vasquez wasn't some random walk-in client. She was the COO of Vasquez Maritime Holdings, a private shipping company her family had built over 3 generations. The appointment had been arranged by her assistant to discuss a $40 million investment portfolio for her expanding business operations. And her husband, Captain Marcus Vasquez, was the commanding officer of the Coast Guard's Pacific Northwest Maritime Strike Team, with connections throughout Seattle's business and government communities. 3 days later, Elena received a frantic call from James Holbrook, the senior partner at Garrison and More. "Mrs. Vasquez, I cannot apologize enough." Holbrook's voice was strained with panic. "I just learned what happened on Monday evening. Derek Chen has been terminated immediately, and I'm calling personally to beg for the opportunity to make this right." "How did you find out?" Elena asked coolly. "Your husband came to our offices this morning with Admiral Richardson from the Coast Guard Pacific Command. They've been reviewing our firm for the region's Maritime Security Pension Fund, a $120 million contract. When Captain Vasquez mentioned what happened to you, I was mortified. I had no idea Derek had turned away a scheduled client, let alone treated anyone so disgracefully." Elena listened in silence as Holbrook continued, "We've implemented immediate policy changes. Mandatory diversity and sensitivity training for all staff. I've also learned that you're with Vasquez Maritime Holdings. Had I known we were losing a potential client of your caliber, I would have intervened immediately." "Would you?" Elena asked quietly. "Would you have intervened if I was just a regular person looking for financial advice? Or does dignity only matter when millions of dollars are involved?" The line went quiet for a long moment. "You're absolutely right," Holbrook said finally, his voice heavy. "And that's the real problem, isn't it? Every person who walks through our doors deserves respect, regardless of their net worth. I'm ashamed that our culture allowed someone like Derek to think his behavior was acceptable. We're making systemic changes, But I understand if you never want to work with us. Elena shifted the phone to her other hand, placing a palm on her belly where the baby was kicking. Mr. Holbrook, I don't want Derek punished just because you discovered who I am. I want your firm to treat every client with respect, the single mother looking for help with her savings account, the young couple planning their first home purchase, everyone. Agreed, Holbrook said. Completely agreed. And Mrs. Vasquez. I hope you'll accept our deepest apologies. If there's anything we can do. Elena thought for a moment. There is one thing. Derek mentioned community credit unions like they were beneath him. I want your firm to partner with 3 local credit unions over the next year, offer free financial literacy workshops, mentoring for their staff, pro bono consultations for their clients. Not as publicity, but as genuine community service. Consider it done, Holbrook responded immediately. And your portfolio consultation? I'll be taking my business to Redmond Financial, Elena said. They treated me with respect from the first phone call. But I'll be watching to see if your firm follows through on those community partnerships. After hanging up, Elena walked to her home office window, looking out over Puget Sound. Marcus would be home in 2 weeks, just before the baby was due. She'd tell him about Holbrook's call, about the changes being implemented, about the small victory in holding people accountable. But more importantly, she'd already scheduled meetings with 2 other Latina business owners she knew who'd faced similar discrimination. Together, they were organizing a mentorship network for women of color in Seattle's financial sector, making sure the next generation wouldn't face the same barriers. Derek Chen's moment of cruelty had revealed a larger problem, and Elena Vasquez wasn't content with just one apology or one firing. Real change required sustained effort, community building, and refusing to accept disrespect as normal. 6 weeks later, Elena received an unexpected package at her office. Inside was a handwritten letter from Derek Chen. Mrs. Vasquez. I don't expect forgiveness, and I'm not writing this to make myself feel better. I'm writing because I need you to know that I understand what I did. After losing my job, I had a lot of time to think. I realized I'd been measuring people's worth by their appearance and my own superficial assumptions. I grew up poor, and somewhere along the way, I started proving my success by looking down on others, becoming the kind of person who once made me feel small. I've started volunteering at a community financial literacy program in Tacoma. I'm learning that everyone deserves access to financial knowledge, not just wealthy clients. It doesn't undo what I did to you, but it's helping me become a better person. I'm sorry for my cruelty, my prejudice, and my arrogance. Thank you for demanding better from me and from that firm. Derek Chen. Elena read the letter twice, then filed it away. Accountability, she thought, looked like this. Not just punishment, but transformation. Not just apologies, but changed behavior. When her daughter was born 3 days later, Elena held her close and whispered, "You're entering a world that isn't always fair. But you're also entering a world where people can learn, grow, and choose kindness. Never accept disrespect, Majita. And never stop fighting for dignity, yours and everyone else's." Outside the hospital window, Seattle sparkled in the morning light, full of possibility and challenge, just like the future Elena was determined to help build.
Hello everyone. If you are enjoying this video and finding it helpful, don't forget to support our channel. Please subscribe to our channel, press the like button, and share this video with your friends and family. Also, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. We regularly upload amazing, informative, and entertaining content just for you. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to bring even better content in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome to our growing community.